this team is going to have to make in the next year or so. And one of the spots that sticks out to me is the secondary, because you have Ward, you have Lenoir, you have Hufanga. All these guys are in the last year of their deals. Do you think there's a priority there? Do you see an extension coming with any of these guys? What's going to happen with the secondary?
That is such a great question. So, first of all, they still think they can get one of these safeties at cut rate values. So they've clearly set a price that aren't, coming up. And probably they won't get one, but, like Julian Blackmon, they could have had for sure. He took a pretty, below market deal to stay with the Colts. And they think Julian Blackmon is a really good player. So could Justin Simmons be sitting out there and just go, fine, I'll take a crappy 1-year deal and try to win a Super Bowl with the Niners? Maybe. So I haven't totally given up on that scenario. So I would say, they definitely want another safety. Hufanga's an interesting case because he was drafted low. He ran slow. He was a revelation once he became a starter in his second year in 2022. He made insane plays the first half of that season. Really didn't have a great second half of the season, but was first team All-Pro off of those splash plays. And then wasn't having a great 2023 when he got hurt. And now he's got an ACL and was already slow. Jair Brown was a guy who was forced in at that point, was a third-round pick, probably outplayed his draft status in some ways. They didn't trust him in the playoffs and played Logan Ryan, which gave them the oldest pair of safeties in the playoffs in some time. But they went back to Jair Brown in the Super Bowl, and he was pretty good. So I think he's starting no matter what. I'm not sure Hufanga's starting next year. And then you add in Brandon Staley's presence, and he has played 3 safeties more than what Saleh and D'Amico and even Wilkes did before him. So they're getting at least one safety, whether it's in the draft or one of these guys who the market collapses on, or both. Now, corner is also super interesting because Charvarius Ward was a great free agent signing, maybe their best since McCaffrey's a trade. I'm trying to think. Have they had a better? Have the Shanahan Lynch people have a better? D Ford was a trade, and that was only really 1 year. That's a great free agent signing, and he obviously got even better this last year. So he's in a great spot for this year. Isaac Yiadom, I'm not going to say it right, but
Yiadom.
Yiadom. That was a sneaky signing for them. They think he kind of was a journeyman, and then he had a really good year last year in New Orleans. They think they could get him on the outside and potentially move Diamador Lenoir inside, which is super intriguing. It was intriguing last year because Isaiah Oliver wasn't working out, and they didn't really have a nickel. It's more intriguing now because of Staley and his history. So if you look at when he was the Rams defensive coordinator, they had that star position that he used with Jalen Ramsey, to great acclaim, as they had the number 1 defense in the league. But Jalen Ramsey, a classic shutdown corner, was now playing star, which moved him inside a lot and put him in the center of the action a lot. Derwin James was the logical guy to do it with the Chargers when Staley was there. They didn't have as good a team around him. But I could see Diamador Lenoir being that maybe some of the time, maybe all the time. And that's interesting because he's smaller and, hasn't had much fanfare and all that. But, I think there's a lot to love about potentially him inside making plays. And if that happens, then you're going to have to pay him after next season, and you're going to do it willingly. And so now you've got potential safety corner decisions to make. By the way, these are all decisions they would love to make. In a perfect world, they load up for this year, contend for another Super Bowl. They hopefully win it for their sake. And either way, next year they go, okay, Purdy's going to get paid, and now we probably have to get younger and retool on the fly.